Hello, welcome to Nuggets for Life. My name is Peter Müller and I've designed this video series to share with you some ideas and concepts that can change your life. Let's get on with it. Hi, today we talk about the basal metabolic rate or basal metabolism. Now, what is this basal metabolism? It is the amount of energy required to stay alive. It is as simple as that. In nugget number 7, we have discussed the input and the output side in terms of energy conversion in our body. So on the input side, we put in our body the high energy nutrition in the form of carbohydrates, protein and fat. And on the liquids, we require water, which by itself does not have any calories, but fruit juices, soda, sugar drinks and alcohol, they contain calories which can be used by the body in the energy conversion process. On the output side, we have 3 forms of energy conversion. The number 1 is the basal metabolism. It's basically breathing, heart rate, body temperature, and keeping our cells in our body basically alive. Then the second source of energy conversion is our daily activity profile. So what we do, we go to the car, we drive to work, we sit in the office, we walk around, we sit in meetings, we go shopping and so forth. This is energy conversion number 2. And number 3 is our physical exercise program, when we have a fitness program, weightlifting or aerobics activity to stay fit, or it is part of a weight reduction program. Now, whatever we put into our body and is not being converted by one of these 3 processes above, the body uses this excess energy and converts it into body fat. And also a small amount the body stores as glycogen, which is a complex carbohydrate form. But the vast majority, it is the body fat, what the body does with excess calories, which are not being used by the basal metabolism, by everyday activity or physical exercise. Now, what is driving our basal metabolic rate? First of all, it makes about 70% of our total energy consumption of the body. And it is regulated by the hypothalamus, which regulates the autonomous nervous system. 70% of our entire energy is being regulated by the hypothalamus and the autonomous nervous system. Autonomous nervous system is basically the nervous system where we don't have to think about. The body does it on its own. So the key functions here are, for example, the heart rate, the breathing, the digestion, when you eat materials, regulating the body temperature, and also our appetite and thirst is being regulated by the autonomous nervous system. But the vast majority of the energy required for our basal metabolic rate is for the so-called osmoregulation. Basically, keeping the extracellular and intracellular water in our body in the proper shape to maintain all of our biochemical reactions in the body. The autonomous nervous system does also some emotional control and so forth, but this is just to mention at this point at a side. Now, the basal metabolic rate, there are some individual differences we have. The biggest difference in basal metabolic rate is the lean body mass. Basically, how much muscle somebody has. If you have two people, both have 80 kilograms body weight, the one is very muscular, having little fat, the other one has a lot of fat and little muscle. Actually, the person with high muscle proportion of body weight has a higher basic metabolic rate than the person, quote unquote, having a high fat content in the body. Secondly, the outside temperature plays a role. If you are in a very cold environment in winter and not being protected by clothing or in a heated room, actually the body requires extra energy to maintain body temperature, and then your basic metabolic rate is moved up. For example, if you swim for half an hour in a cold water in a swimming pool, about a third of the energy consumption required for the swimming is simply to maintain your body temperature compared to the outside cold water. Also, an increase in metabolic rate we find when people have acute illnesses, infections, fever, or when they have a fractured bone or so, when the body has to do some repair work. Also, another factor is during the menstrual cycle, there are some shifts in the basic metabolic rate. Now, how do we calculate how much do we actually burn per day as a basic basal metabolic rate? There are several equations around, and I've chosen for this purpose the revised Harris-Benedict equation from 1984. You see, I have here on top for a typical male, 30-year-old, I have made this spreadsheet where you can look at it. The equation on top, you can make the calculation for yourself. When you know your body weight, your height, and your age, and your sex, you can calculate it. And your calorie consumption per day is simply for a male, and these are rounded numbers, 13 times 3.9 times your body weight in kilograms plus 4.8 times your height in centimeters. All those calculations in science are made in the metric system, by the way, plus 5.67 times your age, number of years, plus the number 88.36. This will give you your basal metabolic rate per day. And I have down here, as you can see, for a male with 30 years, I have from a 50 kilo person to a 90 kilo person, and 4.9 feet height, which is 1 meter 50 to 1 meter 90. You have that grid, so you can find your basal metabolism. But if you are outside, if you have a different age, for example, you can build a spreadsheet like this, or you simply add the number into the equation. If you want to know your own exact basal metabolism based on this calculation, send me an email. It's down there, and I will send you back your estimated basal metabolism. For women, the equation has different numbers as factors, but the calculation is the same. For women, it's 9.24 times kilograms body weight plus 3.09 times your height in centimeters plus 4.33 multiplied by your number of years plus the number 447.59. These are rounded numbers. Again, for a 30-year-old female, I have down the grid for you, which should cover it. If you have a different age, obviously you can use this calculation also here. Send me an email and I give you the best estimate based on the Harris-Benedict equation for you. That should be enough for it today. In nugget number 9 and 10, we talk about food intake and quality and quantity of calories and how you can shape your diet to manipulate also your metabolism. On that note, have a nice day and see you at nugget number 9.